G'day guys, what's going on and welcome back to another video on the YouTube channel. Today I'll be going over the review of my round 7 tips and I'll be going over my round 8 tips. Without further ado, let's get straight into this video. But first, we're doing this every tipped video from now on. We've got to do the CJ medal scores after round 7. Now, after round 6, Yo was winning it by a couple of votes. Now it's still Yo, actually. Yeah, it's still Yo. So that's pretty good for Elliot. But hold on, let me just finish writing this down. Dog on 6. Alright, so after this round, the CJ medal is looking like this. So Yo winning the CJ medal with 11 votes. Next, tied second is McGovern and Waterman. And actually, I need to Adam Reid. Hold on. Alright. There we go. So, Yo, 11, coming in first. McGovern and Waterman tied second. Duggan, third, with 6 votes. Reid, fourth, with 5 votes. Petruccelli, fifth, with 3 votes. And Tim Kelly, sixth, with 1 vote. Alright. Now that we've done that, let's review my tips from last round. I got 9 out of 9. Got the margin 21 points off. I tipped a 22-point margin, but the D's got it done in round 1. In round 7, I got that right. Then it was a draw, so everyone got that right for the Essendon Collingwood game. I tipped the Giants and Giants Brisbane. I got that right. I got all the Saturday games right, all the Sunday games right, so that's pretty good. And now that we've done reviewing that and reviewing the CJ medal, let's get on with my tips. Starting off with the Thursday night clash, the Thursday night showdown. The Adelaide Crows take on the Port Adelaide Power in an absolute blistering rivalry. So both sides coming off a win and loss. So both sides coming off a win, sorry. So Adelaide won to North, Port won to Saints, and both pretty even sides. Port got overflowed with injuries the past week, and which marks Port out of it a bit. But realistically, it is North Melbourne, so you can't take anything out of it for Adelaide because they beat them by 56, I think it was. Can't really take anything out of it because everyone does that to North Melbourne. But Adelaide did worse than I expected they would do. To be honest, I thought they would win by 70 at least, but they didn't. But they still beat them by a comfortable margin in 56. But Adelaide's injuries may rule them out of this a little bit. But 5:30 p.m. time slot, AWST, Thursday night footy, Adelaide Oval, showdown. The Power will break the Adelaide winning streak in the showdowns, and the Power will win by 7. Moving on to the next game at the MCG, Friday night footy, Carlton take on Collingwood, which is another great contest. Both sides, not both sides, one of the sides coming off a loss, one of the sides coming off a draw, and Collingwood draw, Carlton loss. But it is Geelong. They lost to, and Geelong are undefeated for Carlton, so they still put up a good fight, the Blues. Still scored 100 or so points. The Cats only scored a couple more goals than them, 2-3 goals. And then Collingwood, they made a blistering comeback to the Essendon Bombers, really, because they were down by a lot in the first quarter, brought it back in the second. Bombers took a bit of control in the third. Well, I don't even know what happened in the third and fourth. I just know that Langford missed a shot because that's when I got home from kicking the footy. So That was on the Thursday, and Langford missed a shot, so that's what made it a draw. Both sides, amazing sides, looking to make top 8 this season. But the Baggers are just looking way too strong. They're looking way too strong for the Collingwood Magpies. Obviously, they started 0-3, the Magpies. That hasn't been their best season so far. Still been relatively good, but not the best. And that's why I'm going to say the Baggers to win this one in a thrilling contest by 9. Moving on to the Saturday games, 11:45am time slot. The Battle of the Bridge. Sydney take on GWS at the SCG. Now, both sides coming off a win. The one that Sydney got was absolutely a smashing, and then the Giants was a smashing as well. Giants won by 54. Sydney won by 76. Both sides had really good games last week. Really positive games. Toby Green should be back for GWS, I think, unless his suspension was like 2 or 3 weeks. He should be back. Then the Swans don't have any outs, I don't think. The lineups haven't been released yet when I'm filming this on the Tuesday, so it hasn't really. I haven't really heard much, but haven't really heard any injuries from their sides. So I'm just going to be safe. Sydney actually could snatch this one at the SCG, but I'm going to be safe and tip the Giants by 14. Moving on to the 2:35pm time slot on Marvel. Saints take on North in what should be a smashing game for North Melbourne. They got smashed by Hawthorn here this season already by 45. The Saints can well do that, obviously. Port Adelaide got 25 free kicks and the Saints got 10. So, really, you could say Saints got robbed. You couldn't. Either or. So, 2:35pm, 4:35pm in Melbourne. But it's Saints North. It's a North Melbourne game. You all know what's going to happen. It's going to be a smashing. Unless it's against West Coast or someone like that, or Hawthorn. Hawthorn smashed them, so West Coast surely can by at least like 40 points later in the season. But let's not talk about that. Let's talk about this game, and I reckon the Saints will win by 47. Boot the North Melbourne Kangaroos out Marvel Stadium. Moving on to the first night game out of the 2 on Saturday. The D's take on the Cats at the G. Obviously, both sides coming off a win. Geelong won to Carlton. Melbourne won to Richmond. Melbourne absolutely thumped the Tigers by 43 at Anzac Day Eve game. Then Geelong only just got the job done against the Blues on the Saturday, which I was streaming. And then I didn't stream the fourth quarter. But so it should be a pretty good game, I would say, between the D's and the Geelong Cats. Both sides are looking really good. Both sides looking like top 4 sides so far. That's why I've said I've never thought Cats would be this good this year. They've shocked me, but the D's, I knew they would finish top 4. Then they're looking like they will. But they'll have to compete to sides like Geelong, Geelong, the Giants, the Swans, and potentially even Collingwood, and potentially even Port and Carlton. But will the Cats go 8-0? Will the D's get another win? Will the D's stop the Cats' winning streak? Who knows? But all I'm going to say, this is 100% going to be a thriller. Max Gawn is going to have a good game, I'd say. Tom Hawkins might have a good game, but Dangerfield is out for the Cats, which is not very good. Petrarca could have a good game as well. Ollie Henry, potentially. Dempsey. A lot of those key players for both sides that could absolutely erupt and have an amazing game. Jeremy Cameron even for the goal kicking. But even though Dangerfield, their captain, is out, I'm just going to say it's going to be an absolutely thrilling contest at the G. Cats get the job done by 4. Cats 8-0. They keep their winning streak. Moving on to the second Saturday night game. The West Coast Eagles take on the Essendon Bombers at Optus Stadium. Harley Reid will be back for this game. I saw it on the news earlier today because I'm filming this in the morning of Tuesday. On the sunrise, I saw it. But So West Coast obviously coming off a loss to the Suns. People could say it's robbed. The Suns got 33 kicks. West Coast got 18. It's a massive difference, massive robbery. But even if they didn't have those free kicks, we probably would have still lost by not over 20, but we could have actually won if it weren't for those free kicks by umpiring. But and then Essendon came off a draw to Collingwood. They impressed a lot of people. I know a lot of people had the tip of Essendon. I had the tip of Collingwood to be safe, and everyone got their tip right, so that's pretty good. But Essendon absolutely played amazing that Anzac game. I'm really impressed with what they've done. West Coast, though, at home, West Coast are 2-1 at home. And with Reid back and with Barra, we're nothing without Barras. Our defence is nothing without Barras. We need Barras, McGovern. That's our defence. We're nothing without Barras. You obviously have those little players like Hoff and that fit in those defensive spots, but we need Barras to play good and win. We absolutely need Barras. He played great against Freo, plays great every game at home, and we could actually put up a good fight. Reid could start another game. We could win this. Reid could start, get 30 or so touches, I hope, like he did against Richmond. Kick 3 goals like he did against Freo. Get a couple of fend-offs like always. Reid will probably be the star of this game. But I'm just going to be safe. And it is going to be a ripping contest at the stadium. I could be going to this game, who knows. But I'm going to say that Essendon will win this one by 3 points. Moving on to the Sunday games. 11 a.m. at OST. The Tigers take on the Dockers at the home of footy, the MCG. Now, both sides, not both sides, one side of a win, one side of a loss. But Freo lost to West Coast, which wasn't very good a couple of weeks ago. Then the Tigers also lost to West Coast a couple of weeks ago. But Richmond is just Richmond. Richmond is just Richmond. You know, they've won one game this year. They're not looking good. Let's just say that. Looking like a bottom 4 side. But I reckon that Freo are way too strong. Freo are top 8 smoky. And Richmond are 100% not. So Richmond will lose this one at the MCG by 36 points. Freo will win by 36 and get 2 wins in a row. Moving on to the Marvel Stadium, Sunday 5th of April, 2 p.m. AWST time. The Doggies take on the Hawthorn Hawks at Marvel. Hawks got smashed by Sydney by 76. Dogs got beaten by Freo by 24, 95-71. And then all I have to say is that both sides didn't look the best last week. The Dogs were a competitive side until that 4th quarter. The Hawks weren't competitive the whole game. They only kicked 5 goals. But at 2 p.m. at Marvel, the Hawthorn Hawks could get the job done, but I don't see it happening. It could, if they do, it'd be great for Hawthorn supporters and all. But I reckon the Dogs will definitely win this one 100%, and they'll do it by a comfortable margin of 54. Moving on to the last game of the round at the Gabba, the Q Clash, 5:10 p.m. at OST, Sunday night footy, Brisbane Gold Coast, Q Clash. Brisbane coming off a loss to the Giants by 54. Suns coming off a win to West Coast by 37. The Suns robbed West Coast, but the Giants certainly did not rob the Lions. Lions played absolutely horrible. They're not looking like a top 8 side this year. Gold Coast actually are looking like one, to be honest. I've got to be honest. Gold Coast are looking like a top 8 side with how they've played. They're undefeated at home. They've played the average sides at home, though. Your West Coast, your Richmond, your Hawthorn. They're still undefeated there, though, which is pretty good. But the Suns will win this one, I reckon. Lions will just lose another one at the Gabba and go winless at the Gabba so far. They'll lose another one at the Gabba to the Suns in an upset like they did last year in the Q Clash. The Suns will win by 28 in the last game of the round. So that's my tips. Those are my tips for round 8. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. We'll see you on the next one. And always have a good one. Peace.